You're thinking about moving to Ann Arbor, Michigan. Well, guys, pump the brakes because it's not all unicorns and rainbows here in the Mitten State. There are some big differences to Michigan compared to where you're probably living now. And if you're coming from a state like California, Florida, Texas, or even Illinois, where a lot of our clients are moving from, then you got to watch this video. There's some big differences, and I want to share those with you right now. So if that interests you guys, stick around because in this video, we're going to unpack why maybe you shouldn't move to Michigan. Hey, if you're new to this channel and you want to know everything there is to know about eating, sleeping, working, playing, breathing right here in Ann Arbor, Michigan, well then go ahead and subscribe and tap that little bell so you're the first to learn about the current market right here in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Eric Meldrum and my team and I are getting phone calls, texts, emails every single day from people just like you, and you who are thinking about making a move to Ann Arbor, Michigan, and we want to help you do just that. So whether you're making a move in 1 month or 1 year from now, guys, go ahead and give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, even schedule a Zoom call to talk with myself or one of our agents, and we'd be happy to help you make a smooth move to Ann Arbor, Michigan. All right, guys, let's get right into it. I got a list of items that I am going to go through. Some of these may be negatives in your mind. They're all certainly not negatives in my mind, but if you're coming from some of the southern states or the West Coast, then you just got to know, like, we do have winter here, so some of these things are geared towards the winter months and some of the season changes that we have here. But overall, you guys are going to want to pay attention to all of these because each and every one of them may be the reason why you don't move to Ann Arbor, Michigan. So let's get into it right now. All right, so number one is the snow removal here in Ann Arbor. Guys, if you come from a state where you don't have snow, then you'd have nothing to worry about. But here in Michigan, we have plenty of snow and plenty of activities to do around the snow. But snow removal itself, guys, you gotta get out and shovel your driveway, you gotta get out and shovel your sidewalk. And if you're in the city limits of Ann Arbor, if you're in the downtown area or a downtown area in general in the surrounding area, then you gotta be aware that when people, these city workers do plow the streets, they are moving the snow into your driveway, into your cars, and you may be blocked in. So here's a couple tips and tricks. You know, when you have a heavy snowfall and you know the plows are gonna be coming, guys, don't park your cars in the street. Okay, get them out, dig them out, get them in the driveway, and just move them so you don't get stuck because these plows will come and bury your car. They don't care. All right, so quick little story. You know, I was working downtown Ann Arbor, and parking is fierce down there. I did a couple other videos on that. You just got to get there early, but I found a spot, and I was on the street, and it was a day that we had a lot of snow, and I knew right away, like, this was a bad idea, but it was the only parking spot I could find, and I had to get to work. So sure enough, you know, as the day goes on, the plows come through, and I come out at lunchtime, and I barely can even see my car. I mean, it's like half of my car is just covered in snow. The plows come through and just splattered snow all over it. So I had to go to a local business, borrow one of their shovels, and dig my car out so I could get my car out of the parking spot and get home for work that day. So it's really serious, you guys. If you don't take this serious, your car will get buried. All right, so number two on the list is property values here in Ann Arbor. Okay, this might be a big shock from some people that are moving here from, you know, other places in the Midwest. Ann Arbor is probably one of the more affluent areas in the area, and the property values have just been rising, you know, significantly over the past decades because of the secure job growth that's here in Ann Arbor. When we look at the national housing, like, even if they have fluctuations, Ann Arbor has been resilient to a lot of the changes, you know, with property values decreasing, and they've significantly increased over the past 24 months. Even shooting this video today, property values have gone up anywhere from 25 to 30% just in the last 18 months alone. So we are on the rise on property values here, but if you're coming from like California or New York, you might think this is absolutely dirt cheap. I mean, for the house that you can get on acreage, you know, in the surrounding areas of Ann Arbor, if you're coming from an inner city or metropolitan area, then Ann Arbor's got that really good mix of downtown living, city living, and then also rural living, where you get a little bit more space, a little bit more, elbow room from your neighbors, and you're not looking into everybody's kitchen. So there's that for you. But property values in general are going to be a little bit higher. Okay, so number 3 is people walk everywhere. I mean, everybody's active downtown Ann Arbor. People are walking, tourists are coming in, visiting the University of Michigan, and we just have a lot of activity. So when you're driving down there, you just got to be really careful, and especially if you're walking or biking, you have to be super careful and just be aware, because not a lot of people who drive here in Ann Arbor are from here originally, so they're not used to this. Remember, we have a college town, right? We have a lot of students here in Ann Arbor that are driving. We got a lot of young professionals coming in from all over the place that are taking jobs with a lot of the software companies that are sprouting up here, and especially the university, nurses, doctors, medical staff, that are coming from other locations, and they may not be used to driving in a metropolitan downtown area. So you just got to be really on guard. But overall, driving down there, people just walk everywhere. It's super annoying. You gotta just, again, really pay attention. All right, so while I was walking downtown Ann Arbor one day, I literally saw this guy. He was about 10 feet in front of me walking. I was going to lunch, and I think he's had headphones on or had earbuds in, but he was just bobbing and just doing his thing. And he stopped when he saw the street sign that said stop, and then he looked both ways. And this is what a lot of people do, is if there's no cars coming, they'll just walk. So he started walking, and lo and behold, he didn't know this, but he was on a street where buses are parked along the left side of the street, and they're going to take off as soon as all the passengers are on. Well, the timing was impeccable. Unfortunate for him, he stepped right out in front of it as the bus was literally just taking off. Luckily, it wasn't going too fast, but it was enough force to knock him on the street, and he cracked his skull pretty bad, from the fall, and had to call the ambulance. And so even if you're not, accidents happen, I get it, but walking downtown in this high metropolitan area, you got to be super careful. All right, coming in at number 4, which seems like this is happening more and more in a lot of different states, and I'm like Switzerland to this. It doesn't bother me either way, but if you're somebody who doesn't like the legalization of marijuana and what that may do to a surrounding area, then Ann Arbor may not be the best place for you. Marijuana has been here in Ann Arbor for, decades, right? They are the host of the Hash Bash, for Christ's sake. They have people coming in from all over to celebrate, this culture and the things that go on, behind the scenes of the marijuana industry. So if you're somebody who does not like that, again, guys, either way, I've lived here for a long time, visiting Ann Arbor. It does not make Ann Arbor any less attractive in my eyes. It's just one of those things that you just have to know about it. And, along with that comes a lot of politics. And I'm not here to try to make this a political segment on Ann Arbor. We'll do a separate video on some of that stuff. You guys can do your research, online about some of the political views here in Ann Arbor, just like every other state and city. But what I will say is the legalization of marijuana is prevalent here, and if it's not your thing, man, then maybe Ann Arbor is not for you. Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying this list of reasons why Ann Arbor might not be the city for you, but if you have any questions or you're getting value out of this, please drop a comment below so I know you're watching, and I'd love to help answer that. I answer all of them personally, so if you drop a comment, this guy is going to answer it. So go ahead and ask a question. All right, so number 5 is kind of a touchy one. If you're here in Ann Arbor and you're watching this video and this might be you, you might not like what I have to say, so you might want to skip over this part. But there is a perception of people that have lived in Ann Arbor for a long time, since we've had a lot of growth and we've had a lot of changes here in Ann Arbor. There's a lot of people that have been here a long time that just kind of turn their nose up to some of the things that are happening, and they're above this movement and this new regeneration of the city, and they want to see everything kind of stay stagnant to where it was before. So these are people that, again, been here a long time. Sure, there's a lot of people in like New York and California and all those places. It's all the same, right? You got the people that have been here for decades that don't want to see change, and these are the snooty, kind of uppity people that, they like how it was before, and they don't want to see the movement and the progression here in the city. So that does exist. People here in Ann Arbor are really nice. So, but if you're one of those snooty, uppity people, guys, time to go. Get out. You know, just move. I know a guy who can sell your house. This guy right here. All right, so coming in at number 6 is parking and traffic. Guys, not like any other major city, okay? This is not a surprise, shouldn't be a surprise, but I had to add it to the list because it does get annoying. It's one of those things that when you're going downtown and you're circling the block, trying to find parking, you just gotta know really where to go. So either get there early or make sure you have mapped out what parking structure you're gonna park in before you go into the city. That'll make it super convenient for you. All right, so number 7 on the list is property taxes, and this one may shock some of you. Property taxes, well, let me think about that. Property taxes may not shock you if you're coming from like New York or some of those cities on the East Coast. Property taxes might shock you if you're coming from some of the southern states and you're moving to Ann Arbor. So average property taxes for a house here in the city around, you know, $400,000 to $500,000. You're going to be paying anywhere from $8,000 to $12,000 a year for property taxes. Now, that is in the city limits, okay? So there's a difference as we start going out. We'll do some different videos on this. As you start expanding your home search outward, and maybe you want to be 20 minutes from Ann Arbor, you start getting into the township taxes. So you don't necessarily have city taxes. You're going to be in townships where the taxes are going to be anywhere from 30 to 40% lower, and you might even have more space and more room to roam around, have your fur babies, you know, go chase things on the lawn, and you don't have to pay these crazy taxes. So just don't be surprised when you start looking at homes and you start looking at the property taxes, and that could be a significant chunk of your mortgage payment. All right, so coming right off the taxes, right into number 8, we have high rent right here in Ann Arbor. And this is a combination of a lot of things, okay? So we do have student housing, which, don't even get me started on student housing. I don't know if I'll ever make a video on this because we don't do rentals for students, but if you're an investor and you're looking to get into there, give me a call. But here's what I will say about the rent is the rent here in Ann Arbor is absolutely much higher than some of the surrounding areas because of the student population, because there's such a demand for rentals and people traveling in, staying here for 1 to 2 years. We have a lot of people who do residency at the University of Michigan healthcare system. So there's people that are coming in doing 2 to 3 years rotations and then moving on. So renting is probably a better option for them. But here's the thing. If you are staying in Ann Arbor for longer than 3 years, you may be in luck. You might want to purchase a home because there's such appreciation happening in the city that you might be making out pretty penny after you sell. So average rent here in Ann Arbor for a one bedroom, 1 bath, you could find some cheap places, maybe on the lower, like, you know, $1,000 range, but I can assure you they're not going to be that great of places. They're probably going to be some rundown apartments, you know, that a landlord hasn't taken care of. For anything decent here in the city, you're going to be paying around $1,400 to $1,600 for a 1 bedroom. And once you go into the 2 bedroom range, you're going to bump up to $1,800 to $2,000. Average rent here in the city is around $1,800 to $2,400 per month. So interesting fact on the rental is this is what niche.com says. I looked this up right before I shot this video, but 55% of the population rent in Ann Arbor. I thought that was pretty interesting because considering we have a lot of people coming in that aren't technically considered as part of the population, right? That doesn't include the student housing portion or people that are just here, you know, for grad school or undergrad. Considering 55% of the people that actually live here rent, that's staggering, which explains why the high rents. All right, so if you're coming from the West Coast or some of the southern states where you are used to sunshine and beaches, I don't know why you're moving to Michigan, but if you're used to beaches, then I gotta burst your bubble and just tell you, we don't have beaches, but we do have lakes, and that is just the next best thing. So you can enjoy a lot of boating, a lot of outdoor activities on the lakes, and that's how we grew up. You know, lake life is something special. It's a community of people who all live on the same lake, and you're usually friends, you party, and you do all that stuff. But there's no beaches here. You're gonna have to drive around 2.5 to 3 hours to get to some decent beaches, which are all on the west coast and the northern part of Michigan in the Petoskey and Traverse City area. My family's been traveling to Traverse City as long as I can remember. I think I was in diapers the first time I was on a beach in Traverse City, but this is one of our favorite vacation spots here in Michigan. Traverse City has blown up. Ever since they did the news segment on the Sleeping Bear Dunes, people started coming from all over the place to visit the Sleeping Bear Dunes and see Lake Michigan bluffs and all of the beautiful scenery that you have to enjoy up in northern Michigan. And that's one of the things I'm actually going to start is a Living in Traverse City YouTube channel, so keep an eye out for that. But the views up there are beautiful, the lakes are beautiful, the golf courses, the amount of activities there are to do, and they have some of the best little towns. Sutton's Bay, if you go all the way up M22, which wraps around Leelanau Peninsula, you got Sutton's Bay, you have Leland, which is, aka Fishtown, and then you have Glen Arbor, and those places are some of the most beautiful places you can ever visit in northern Michigan. So I highly suggest, if you are going to be moving to Michigan, that you guys go check those places out as well. All right, number 10, and back to Ann Arbor. Okay, so here we're in the metropolitan area, and we talked about people walking all over the place. Well, guess what? People are biking everywhere too. And Ann Arbor has done this weird thing where they literally, we used to have all these 2 lanes, okay? Now they've done this weird thing where they've taken a portion of the second lane and painted this green bike lane on it. And now we're just supposed to understand that this is a bike lane, okay? So if we have people biking in the city, now you have a lane, okay? So if biking's your thing, you've lucked out because Ann Arbor has got you covered. And for everybody driving, like me, I'm driving to showings all the time and driving all over. I still can't figure these things out. It's one of the most confusing things that they've done. They're trying to make it commuter friendly, and they're trying to become a zero emission city, which I fully support. I think that's awesome, but there's not been a build out of infrastructure. They've literally just painted over the existing lanes and said, now this is not a 2-lane highway, or a 2-lane street, this is a bike lane, and then you have cars over here. So guys, again, be careful. It's a madhouse out there. Walking, driving, biking, drives me absolutely insane. All right, so coming in at number 11 is the student population. And guys, don't get me wrong, I love the University of Michigan. I have nothing but good things to say about it. Football team is great. Jim Harbaugh is great. Awesome, right? Now, student population is everywhere when it comes to the downtown area, okay? Especially on the east side, east side of downtown, west side of campus, where the downtown and campus converge. Those places can get a little bit busy. So if you're looking for a quick bite to eat at some of the restaurants down there, one of our favorite restaurants, Saba's, is right there in downtown across from the State Theater. You are going to compete for a table. There's a lot of students who like going there. And guys, if you think they're not eating at nice restaurants, you are mistaken. These students, they don't settle for just a sandwich. They have to go get a sit-down meal, and some of the best restaurants are downtown, and they're eating at all of them. All right, so lastly on the list, and number 12 on the list, is the roads here in Ann Arbor. Guys, I literally can't even say any good things about the roads here in Michigan. What I can say is that the roads in Ann Arbor are better than the roads in majority of Michigan. You want to see some bad roads, go into Metro Detroit or Detroit in general, and you will see some bad roads. But Ann Arbor, for the most part, they take care of the roads. They're just not great. As we have winter, and when the salt trucks go out and then the plows come out, they literally chew up the road. Now, here's one interesting thing is, like, I've been to Ohio a bunch of times, and Ohio is just south of where we are. They get pretty much the same winters. Their roads don't seem to be as bad. So I think there's something that we're missing here in Michigan. I don't know if it has anything to do with the auto industry. It might have something to do with the auto industry. They want people to get flat tires so they can buy new tires. I don't know. Maybe I'm making a conspiracy theory out of it, but as the roads here are not great. Ann Arbor, step above everybody else, but so not great. All right, guys, so hopefully that was helpful in making a decision on whether Ann Arbor is the right city for you. There's a lot of great other surrounding areas, so maybe check one of those out. You can check out Brighton, Dexter, Saline, Northville, Plymouth. We can do videos on all of those as well. And if you guys have questions, put them in the comments below. I'd be happy to answer them. And as always, if you guys are moving to Ann Arbor or relocating, investing, or buying a second property, then go ahead, give us a call, shoot us a text, and send us an email. We'd be happy to make a smooth move to Ann Arbor, Michigan.